is Ty Olson. I grew up in Minnesota. I moved to Los Angeles at 18 years old to pursue acting. And that's currently what I'm getting back into again after taking a little break in SF. I started getting tested shortly after my first sexual experience. I'm a hypochondriac, so it was nothing more than that. And the results were different one day. So, your priorities change too. After I contracted it, everything changed. Like, the things that were important to me before were not at all. I decided, I quit my job, I gave my month notice at my apartment, and I bought a car, and I packed up, and I drove home for the holidays, and I had planned on telling my family over the holiday. My sister and I were stuck at home in the blizzard. We got into this fight, I don't even remember what it was about. She ended up locking me outside in the blizzard, and I didn't know too much about HIV at the time. Prior to my diagnosis, I wouldn't even want to talk about it. I didn't want to bring it into my realm of reality. I didn't want to manifest it, if you will. But that was just ignorance looking back. So I'm outside in Minnesota in this blizzard on Christmas Day, locked out, thinking that I'm going to die. I'm going to get sick and I'm going to die. That's what I thought. I thought that I could not get sick. Ended up getting into the house and calling my mother, extremely upset and crying, and she's trying to console me, trying to work out, the sibling fight that was going on, and I ended up telling her over the phone anyway, which I didn't want to do. And I guess you can never really plan on how to tell somebody that. Like, I mean, you can plan, but it's not going to go the way that you plan. I ended up telling her on the phone on Christmas Day, and I remember hearing the phone drop. I went downstairs and I slept for hours, and I woke up and my mother was laying next to me with a sandwich, saying that I need to eat. All of these efforts that I put in to telling them in person, all of this planning I had around, how it would go telling them, and it just it did not go the way I planned at all. And it was a mess. It was the biggest mess I've ever been through. I was so sad to tell them. I didn't want them to be right. I didn't want them, to be right about, since I was gay, I'm going to get HIV, and I'm going to die, but they were at the time. That's where I was at mentally. I was like, they're right. Oh, it was the worst Christmas on record for the Olson family. They were extremely sad. I felt like they were mourning my death already or something. Like, they were broken from it. I didn't know much about it, and they didn't know much about it. All they really knew about it was that it killed gays. I was unsure if I should take the homeopathic route or, get on these medications, that there are tons of pros and cons to. So it was a really big decision for a young 20-year-old to make. Daunting. But I did. And and I was undetectable right away. They ask me how I'm doing. They're aware of my clinical studies that I'm going through. I think they're proud. I've had to educate myself, so I was able to educate them on the disease and that it's no longer a death sentence. I was afraid that no one would want to be with me after I contracted HIV. I was in an unhealthy relationship at the time, and I stayed in it for a year and a half more because of the fear around being alone, being isolated, and I didn't know any better, but it was surprising, actually, after I did start speaking out about it, the responses were very understanding. I'm currently in a serodiscordant relationship with my partner, meaning he's negative and I'm positive. He is on PrEP, and I am currently not on medication because I'm in a clinical study. They genetically alter your T cells to where the virus isn't able to get into the T cell. They cut off the doorway. I am very open about it. If it gets brought up in a conversation, I won't avoid it. I don't think it should be, the topic of conversation at all times. But I also don't think it should be ignored. That's my biggest thing, is I feel like people just need to talk about it more. It's changed my life, but I feel for the better. I love who I am today versus then.